Shut up and sit down.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the KF podcast. This is the Captain Morgan. Let's just go back and try that over again.
I think just keep going. It's perfect.
Captain Marvel spoiler review. I want to say thank you for listening. If you just found us on the interwebs, check us out at kfpodcast.com. That is our newly updated hub for all things KF Podcast. You might not have heard my voice in a while. I'm Ken. This is Dawn.
Hello.
This is Justin via satellite.
Hey!
From a rotating lab out in space. Oh, spoiler reviews.
Rotating lab.
So we all saw Captain Marvel in different states.
Morgan.
Time. Oh, no, same time.
Different states. Same time,
yes. And this is our spoiler review.
We're going to full on spoiler. If you want to hear non-spoiler, maybe check out the
our popcorn chicken review.
Our weekly pop culture review out on all your favorite podcasts, whatever you listen to, SoundCloud,
Stitcher,
iTunes.
We're
out
everywhere.
there. Look for us.
We're like herpes. We're all over the place.
We are. Go do it. But here, this is spoilers.
Yes. So you had your chance.
Spoilers ahead.
Yes. So get off now if you don't want to be ruined.
Don't tell people to get off online. That's not good. That's how trouble starts.
Well, listen, tell us what really did it in the comments if that's something you're into.
So we're going to do spoiler roundtable review like we do, but we're going to do post-credit scene at the end.
Okay.
We'll save that because that's a whole nother topic.
Whole new topic.
So let's start with the man on the big screen. Live from a floating space lab. The G.
So, just first things, I really enjoyed this. It did follow kind of the Marvel typical origin story. The person who you thought was your friend ends up being the villain. The person who you thought was the villain ends up being your friend.
Yeah.
They twisted some things that I'm going to have to ask you guys some questions.
Okay.
I was saying to myself while we were watching this, not to jump in, that I need to catch up on some Captain Marvel. I always liked Carol Danvers, but I feel like I've missed out recently. So
Yeah, you haven't read comics in a while.
yeah,
That's why you're not on Comic Talk.
exactly. That's why it's
So there's some timelines that seem to be a little weird in this movie to me. Well, if we're spoiling things, the Tesseract is in this movie, and that seems a little odd to me based off of the rest of the MCU.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how the Tesseract got from at the end of Captain America.
So this is 95.
This is 95. It's in space again, but it's like
It's still on Earth. So if Captain Marvel, a.k.a. what's her name?
Annette Bening.
I was about to say Angela Bassett. And I'm like,
first of all, Annette Bening played like 85 people in this movie.
And it was great.
She was the Supreme Intelligence. She was the original Captain Marvel.
Well, I like that they said that the Supreme Intelligence was someone it's different for all people.
Right.
Instead of a giant green floating head with tentacle penises.
They said you couldn't really comprehend its true form. You couldn't look on it.
Yeah.
Which was fine.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because
there's some stuff back in old Marvel comics that, was silly. Like
was goofy. The Supreme Intelligence is goofy looking.
He's just a test tube with a giant green
I
head.
like the way they did it. That was fine. So she somehow took the Tesseract and put it in her floating space lab.
Yes.
And she was protecting it. I don't know how she got it off of the military, whoever had it before.
She might have been the one that found it in Antarctica.
Maybe in the water, because it crashed with...
That wasn't shown in any movies, was it? Or
Howard Stark was part of the mission that found the Tesseract when they found Captain America.
That's right.
Okay, yeah.
That's right,
so could she...
And I thought that was like in... What year was that? That was like in the 2000s, wasn't it?
Well, that was early. No, Howard Stark found him when he was younger.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right.
So was that Captain... No, that could have been the... Because... Trying to think up the timeline. So it sinks at the end of Captain America.
It's sunk. And then I think he found it. Howard Stark found it.
What movie is that in?
I don't know.
It's the very end of Captain America: The First Avenger, his first movie.
Oh,
It's like I think it might even be a post-credit scene to that movie because there's the.
He doesn't find Steve though.
No, you're right. He doesn't
Because
find
he's
Steve.
dead by the time they find Captain America. Because Iron Man's around and he's long gone. He finds the Tesseract.
Well, in theory, that's a government agency that has the Tesseract.
Yeah.
Could they have just stored it there?
And she got a hold of it and put it in her space lab.
Yes.
Something of that nature. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
It was a little wonky with that.
That's clunky. That's a little clunky.
It was a little clunky there. Also, one of the parts that bothered me, speaking of that clunkiness, was he would, like they saw this alien invasion, Nick Fury and Coulson and all that, but then they were really surprised by like Thor. And you remember in Avengers, they were like, "When did you start making these weapons?" And one of the things they're like, you're making these weapons using a Tesseract, and he said, "Well, last year when aliens crashed our planet and had a war." He's talking about Thor and Loki, and he's like, and Thor's like, we don't mean you no harm. He's like, yeah, but we got our asses kicked. That's why they started making weapons. Wouldn't you already be like, well, we already knew aliens were out there? I know that stuff's hard to do because that was planned 10 years ago. But
and that's almost something you have to. I think you feel like you have to forgive a little bit.
You have to forgive and forget a little bit on that, And
also too, he hasn't seen any of that stuff in so long. Maybe he didn't think that there was that big of a threat. And maybe with him writing the Avengers Initiative at the end of this movie, he thought they were going to be a little more abundant than he.
Well, so let me say about her.
Well, can we let Justin finish the thought? Because we literally cut him off.
We cut him off.
And
That's okay.
We're ping-ponging.
Yeah, we always do that though. I really, really enjoyed the soundtrack. This was my music. This was the music I grew up on.
Justin loved Hole.
I was really into grunge, and that was my scene when I was in junior high and high school. So I really liked the soundtrack. I hate you, Dawn, because I was concentrating on her voice when I was trying to pay attention to the whole movie.
Her voice is a little annoying at times.
And it pissed me off. I just kept thinking, God damn it, I shouldn't be paying attention to this.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me one bit.
But, and it wasn't the whole time. There were a couple scenes, but I think the way she was trying to play it was, she was trying to portray a lot of confidence and cockiness.
Yeah.
But she was really insecure. And so I think she was trying to put a line, kind of walk a line with that in her attitude and how she portrayed it. So it didn't bother me. I'm excited to see her in Endgame and to see her come in because never mind. We won't go further for that yet. Yeah. But I'm excited to see her in Endgame. And Fury was great. I'm a little disappointed. Not disappointed, but it's kind of, I guess now we know how Fury lost his eye.
It's not Wolverine.
Yeah.
Not Wolverine. Goose was one of my favorite characters in the movie. He was great. But yeah, I overall I was really happy with it. I'm excited for more. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with her as far as leading the Avengers going forward.
Yeah, leading the Avengers. Stop with that. So, I'm going to go next. I think that she's a very needed character. Okay, so you need this introduction of her because they're facing bigger threats now, and you have Panther, Strange, Ant-Man, these newer people they're introducing. Although they're good characters, a little bit more on the weaker side. I mean, Doctor Strange can do the magic end, but Ant-Man and Panther and some of the newer guys, you're not stopping big galactic threats. You know what I mean? So you need a powerhouse, especially if Thor's not going to be around for a lot of these movies or Iron Man. She's a good powerhouse. So I like the way they do her powers. I don't want them to get too odd. I thought there were some power variances where she was taking on all those missiles and spaceships and going Super Saiyan at the end there. But then when she was inside, having sort of a hard time just fighting hand-to-hand combat with Jude Law, who really wasn't all that powerful.
Well, I think that fight scene at the end where she's fighting all of them, she's holding back to keep them interested and distracted till the ship leaves.
There's a little bit of that. I like that they didn't go that Jude Law had her powers and they had a we have the same ability power fight at the end.
Yes.
He was kind of outmatched, So I liked her addition in there. She looks good. the CGI is great. I love the way they do her flying.
Yes.
And all the powering up. She's going to look cool in movies going forward. So I was okay with all that. The story generally was fun. It was entertaining. My biggest problem with this movie is the Skrulls. I feel like they took the Skrulls, who are a great, great group of villains, and I feel like they shit on Secret Invasion, that whole thing, because people wanted to see that, and they went to, and we don't get political on here, but they did the whole, like, they're refugees, and the big bad Kree, trying to clean up they even threw in clean up our borders, like, in there. Like, do we have to go there, Disney? Like, can't we leave politics out of movies? Like,
I guess I didn't even notice it. Like, to me, like, as a moviegoer, I didn't think once, because the Kree Skrull War is the thing that happened in the books, and literally the Kree...
I've read the Kree Skrull War. I'm all familiar with that. It's just, when I hear Annette Bening go, we have to defend our borders against invasions, and I'm like, why is that line in there? Why?
Because they're an alien race that's being attacked by terrorists.
You know where they're going with that, Ken. You know exactly what they had in mind with that.
I went and saw a movie. I didn't even go and watch.
I wanted to go see it.
I will admit, I noticed it as well. And I thought that at the end, when I was driving home, I'm like, got a little political there.
Yeah, they did that on purpose. But anyway, I can look past it. It didn't make me hate the movie. But I want the Skrulls to be bad. I didn't like them as they were nicey nice guys who were... I wanted the Kree to be bad and the Skrulls to be bad, and her, like, basically say, screw you to both of you. They turned that Talos guy that seemed like a cool potential villain into, like, he's just a nice daddy and a nice guy.
But
like,
I could see him, if someone kills his family, him going right back to being a villain.
I guess I wanted... Me and Brock talked about this last week. I wanted, like, those two... There was a couple end scenes there. I wanted a lead in the Secret Invasion. That's what I was hoping for. So I guess I love Secret Invasion. I wanted to see, like, maybe at the end, one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents is a Skrull, and there's, like, the hint, like, hey, this could be going forward. It doesn't look like they're going in the Secret Invasion route, which to me, they're probably going to go into the whole Eternals and outer space thing, because they're making that movie. And I don't know. Like,
I feel like with the Skrulls being introduced...
I want the Super Skrull.
I want the Super Skrull, too.
I want bad guy Skrulls.
Well, maybe you don't get that until Fantastic Four.
Okay.
But this also is a movie that was written before the Fox merger.
Right.
So if you got to think about it this way, this movie was not supposed to be a long time. Skrulls are something we own, and this is a... Can we show what they do? Can we wrap it in a nice bow? And can we send them off and not deal with them?
That's a good point.
So if we put a small group, what was that, 20 in a ship?
20 in a ship.
And these are good Skrulls.
Well, he even said our numbers are small anymore.
And he said they're scattered across the universe.
Right.
If there's another rogue, like, people can be bad.
Yeah.
People can be
just
good.
like there was good Kree.
Yeah, I feel like this isn't going to be the end of Secret War or our hopes for a Secret Invasion. This is just at the time, like
It's not in the cards right now.
It's not in the cards right now because guess what? They have other things they can do. Like, it's just maybe we save that for something later. Well,
because there's a lot of mystery after Endgame. They haven't released anything that's really coming out after Endgame. So my hope was that this was like a little snippet of after Endgame. We got Secret Invasion coming up, but it doesn't look like they're going that way, and that was my disappointment.
I'm not going to lie. I actually am more excited for the fact that I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I get that.
So, because there's options to be weighed, but I think this wasn't the kickoff. This is an introduction, and we know that, there's one Skrull that made it. He could be anywhere.
I thought the Skrulls looked really good.
I like they look great.
I like the way they did the shape shifting, all that. I also really enjoyed the whole Maria Rambeau and her daughter's Monica Rambeau.
I loved that
because now, 20 years later, she's like a mid-20s superhero you could do.
Yeah.
Her mother's call sign was Photon. She can be Photon. I like Photon. So all those tie-ins were good because even with in this culture, day and age, they're always looking for some diversity. Monica Rambeau's a perfect example of that. Photon's a cool character. She was in the Avengers. That's I always say work with what you have instead of we want to change a race of someone. Work with the characters that were already established.
And it's great because she's already aware of things being outside her.
She would be perfect. I would love to see her in Cpatin Marvel 2.
Here's where I'd like to see her. Guardians of the Galaxy, and she gets Quasar's photon beam.
Yes, I would love to see her as a new character you can do going forward in movies.
Yep.
Either with the Guardians or part or two, whatever. She's good to go forward with. I'd much rather see her than like Miss Marvel in the second movie, who I don't think's powers or anything even relates to Captain Marvel type storylines.
No.
You could do her in an Inhumans type.
She should be... The only way that you see her in a movie coming up is Captain Marvel should save a young Indian American woman during Endgame.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And then she like wants to be like her.
Exactly. Yeah. And that sets up what we talked about for years. That sets up the Inhuman movie.
Yeah. Instead of that shit that they did on ABC. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it depends on the timing of like how much time they give Carol on her own in Endgame versus whether it's just going to be always like this team and this team going on separate missions. I would like to see an Endgame her coming back, getting, finding out what's going on, and then being like, okay, I got to go check on somebody. And finding Monica, obviously Fury knows her, that he had recruited her to S.H.I.E.L.D. and that she's just a low-level agent or
you can do something like that.
I would like to see an Endgame, that tie-in of of 20 or 30, 25, 30-year-old Monica Rambeau and Carol meeting up again.
Yeah, that could work, I think, really well. I mean, having her in movies going forward would be a great idea.
Yes.
Like how Captain America has Bucky and people like that in the movies going forward. That's her sidekick, future type person going forward. What about her getting powers from the Tesseract? I was surprised by that.
I feel like...
Because Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch got their powers from the Tesseract.
Oh, that's true.
Because remember, they were experimenting with it, and they got their energy from them. They turned them into miracles.
Yeah.
That was before they could say mutants. And they got their powers from there. I was surprised that it gave her that much power.
Well, the explosions, she seemed to just absorb it all.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Captain Marvel's already tricky. Like, she was given powers she was bestowed Captain Marvel's powers, the original Captain Marvel. And then she got binary powers. And then she's now back to this
She's had a lot of different power sets.
And I honestly am fine with it because it's been so... The water about her powers have been so muddied in the past up until like the late 2000s. Like, I'm fine with the Tesseract being the one that gives her powers. Like, I don't have it's not like Spider-Man's origin's iconic because what it is. Like, Carol Danvers is just like, like you never know.
Well, here's the thing to think about with that though. When she goes up against Thanos, the Tesseract, is part of the gauntlet. Maybe she'll have a connection to the gauntlet that it doesn't work on her as well, or she can pull that off, or siphon energy.
Or Thanos can control her.
Or he control her and turn her on people. There's a connection now between her and Thanos because of where she got her powers from.
Like, let's just throw it out there. If we all think that the quantum realm, Ant-Man goes through it, could she possibly realize what's in that they're in one of the stones and could pull them out? Like, there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, there's all kind of different things they could do with her. I just don't. Go ahead.
Sorry, they could just use that as a simple way just to find Thanos. That she has a connection to that, and she could just use it as like a locator.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy.
Or maybe not she, but Bruce could take her energy signature and. Because they know that the stone, it was the Tesseract. Yeah. So he could be like, well, if your energy signature matches this energy signature, I just got to find them in the universe.
Right itself.
So speaking of Bruce, Ken, why don't you tell us what the first post-credit scene was?
Am I supposed to just go after myself and I'll tell you how I feel about the movie?
Well, you've been telling us how you feel about the movie the entire time. Go ahead and tell us about the movie first.
I liked it. It was pretty good.
I mean, do you have anything you want to
say? No, really, things I wanted to touch on was Monica. I like the fact that they established that she's going to be a younger character that I feel like they're going to develop. Really, you guys all touched
Did you like the cat? I didn't really get the cat.
So, apparently, in the subway scene, Captain Marvel comes out of the subway chasing that guy, and there's a redheaded woman that she almost runs into.
Yeah.
That's Kelly Sue DeConnick, who's wrote Captain Marvel forever.
Okay.
she, I guess, introduced that character, that cat. It's something. It's called something different in the book. I think
in the book, his name's Chewie.
Okay, and it's a giant. It's like an it's a giant intergalactic being, but it's like real dangerous. But Captain Marvel befriended it and brought it to Earth, and it disguised itself as a cat, or it always looks like a cat.
It's a flurkin.
Yeah, so that's a thing, and it's supposed to be crazy dangerous. And I remember them saying like, "There's no way that could actually be a flurkin. It's probably going to be a Skrull hidden as a cat, like they hid them as cows." The one thing that I thought was awesome was when she's first abducted, and there's two little Skrulls, and they look really weird, and they're giant bug-eyed Skrulls. Okay, yeah. That is exactly what they look like in their first appearance in Fantastic Four 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like little tiny kids?
They were like real small and bug-eyed, and that's the ones they mind-controlled into cows. Yeah. And then that's where you get the Skull Kill crew with people that have powers from drinking meat that was actually a Skrull.
Interesting.
So that's why a little throwback there. Also, the Stan Lee intro I thought was awesome too.
The Stan Lee thing was really cool too, because did you get what he had in his hand and all that as well? Did you see that, Justin?
Oh, he had Mallrats.
He was reading the script for Mallrats.
No way!
Yeah, he played himself.
Yeah,
just he was actually even repeating one of his lines.
Yeah, he goes.
I remember the line
about that True Believer. Yeah, he was actually Stan Lee.
I did not connect that to Mallrats. That is fantastic.
When you saw the script in his hand, the script said Mallrats on it.
See, I didn't look at it that closely.
Yeah, it was great.
That is great.
And that's a great appearance. I mean, Kevin Smith had to be so happy that they did that.
They should have been talking about the things Orange did.
Because he's looking at it, he says the line.
I'll tell you what, with knowing that now, I can't believe Kevin Smith didn't leak that at some point.
Well, that was great.
He gets so excited about stuff.
Well, I liked in the beginning that they did the Stan Lee intro. Did you see that I started to clap?
You did.
And everyone started clapping?
I didn't clap. I was eating my Wendy's. I smuggled in the...
After they did the Stan Lee intro in the beginning, and I started to clap, everyone joined in. Like, you got to clap for that. That was cool.
I really like that.
But, all right, so we can go. What we're going to talk about?
Generally, you liked the movie.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was one of my top, I'd say, 4 Marvel movies so far.
You have that high up?
Yeah, it was really good.
Wow, that's okay.
I'll put it here first. It was better than Black Panther.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm tough on that one.
On Black Panther?
It being better, I'd say it's equal. I don't know if it's better.
It's better.
It's different.
It's better
than it. You know what I mean? Panther has it's a different whole story. And
is there any character you're more annoyed with in the Captain Marvel movie than you were with Black Panther's sister? And like Black Panther's sister was a character to me that I found annoying because she always had an answer with technology and technological anal beads that they wore around their wrists. Like every answer was solved in Black Panther by technology, like quote unquote, which really bothered me as a moviegoer. Where this, I feel like, opened more doors to, all right, here's the Skrulls. Here's a deeper vision of the Kree.
Yeah, I like the Kree stuff that they did.
Here's like Coulson and like backstory on this. Like
Coulson, they just threw in there for like eye candy for people. He had no lines. He really did nothing.
Well, you saw the bond between
a little bit, you know.
And the Fury can trust him before trusting anyone else. I feel like they set some stuff up.
Fury was good.
Yeah, Fury was great.
It was good to see more like not as hard Nick Fury and being a little bit more trusting, a little bit more thing. You know, that was good. There really wasn't any characters in it I would say I hated. Like I liked Jude Law. He was okay.
Yeah. I actually thought at the end Jude Law was behind all of it because he was like, oh yeah, now I'm like, wait a minute, like did he just totally like double flip?
They flew across that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess there wasn't really any. But there wasn't as many characters in this movie as like Black Panther or some of these other ones. But I mean, did you like it the same as Doctor Strange or better than Doctor Strange?
I think it's on par with Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's introducing like.
I guess Suri didn't bother me as much as she bothered you.
I didn't. I shouldn't say Siri didn't bother me. It's the fact that and that's why I don't think it should ever win Best Picture. Is they use the plot convenience of technology so much in this, where I don't feel like that they just said, "Oh, this is just answered by X."
I didn't like Killmonger. he annoyed me. I didn't like that he just was a copy. That he comes in, the way they made him come in, he just took it over, and he wears a golden Black Panther suit, and they have a dumb fight, So yeah, I have to say I like it probably better than that. But like, I don't like it better than like Thor, Cap, or Iron Man, or any of them, or any of the Avenger movies.
I think I like it more than I like Thor.
See, the original Thor is still one of my favorites. Like, it's hard for me not to love that movie.
It's tough.
But I don't know. So let's get to the post-credit scene.
Okay.
So what was the post-credit scene?
Well, the first post-credit scene was amazing, and it was Cap in Black Widow. Black Widow says that the pager that they didn't know, and it has everyone. It's got Bruce, Black Widow,
War Machine,
all the surviving Avengers.
How'd they find that pager, though? Was it just on the floor somewhere, and they went to...
Well, I mean, Fury dropped it in the street in New York when he dusted it.
How'd they find it?
It's probably a lot easier to find when half the people aren't around and kicking around.
Like, oh, this looks interesting.
I'm guessing that there would have been that somebody would have investigated what happened to Fury, found the vehicle that they were
fine with that. Anyway, it was still cool that they're looking at it, and they're like, the signal broke down, but... And then they turn around and there she is. How did she get there, like, right where they're at, into their building? She just flew in, no one noticed her coming in that fast?
Well, I also think that the reason it shut off is she powers it. So,
Yeah, it's like a beacon.
Yeah, so she got there and it shut off.
Now, she looked cooler.
Yeah, she looked grizzled.
She looked grizzled, and she had, like, more gold on her, and, like, the hair was, like... She looked serious,
And her voice was different.
Yeah.
Her voice was much more confident. And that's why I said earlier... I want to see her and how she acts.
Scared the shit out of Black Widow.
Yeah. I think she has, in this movie, she's trying a false bravado. Like, she's like, oh, I'm going to be... When Spider-Man acts cocky to throw off, like, to fill in for his lack of... What am I looking for?
Confidence. Yeah.
Well, now she has it. She's been destroying the Kree all over. And
she's been fighting for like 20 years in a war, so she's pretty grizzled, tough, and probably much more powerful and control of those abilities. Yeah. She must have been really far away, too. Because, again, with a little confusion, if she was fighting the Kree and all that, like, the Kree are in the first Guardians, and they're, like, working for Thanos.
Was it Kree, or is it just Ronan?
It's Ronan, but I thought it was...
It's just the accusers, I think, because...
Yeah. Because it seems like...
Aren't they on the Kree homeworld and that, too, though?
I don't
think
so. Well, Hala is the
homeworld.
Is the home city? I don't know, like how that.
Works. Again, there's a lot of that stuff that goes on, but where do you think this scene in here took place? Like, you know how like sometimes they confuse you, where like, you remember the scene in Ant-Man where like I know a guy we can call, and they do that whole thing. And it's a lead in the Civil War,
and
everybody was like, oh, that was like a cool post-credit scene. But really, that was like the middle of Civil War. That scene, they redo that scene. That's what I'm wondering about this scene. If like, or is that a scene we're gonna see in the movie, or does this scene like does this happen? We don't see that, and like when the movie starts, is she already on Earth? She already there with them, and they're like, hey, we already did that, or that a Civil War where like you're gonna get 20 minutes of the movie, and then they find the pager, and then she shows up. Is that like 50 minutes into the film? You know what I mean?
I'll be honest, I don't want all that. Like, I wanted to, like, there's a lot to cover in Endgame.
It's a 3-hour movie.
Well, yeah, they're going to need it. Like,
you want her to already be there.
Yeah.
She's there from there, she's there.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I want. Because I want the movie to start where she's like in the room with them and like,
really, this movie is the top of the pyramid. So all factors need to just like, you've been watching this entire universe forever. That whenever you start this movie, you should be like, all right, I have all the information I need,
right?
And it's just gonna start.
Okay.
You know,
you gonna sing that? You want to know?
I'm wondering if there's like a couple minutes before that, but this is basically like the opening scene of Endgame.
It could be, yeah.
Could be. It could be her flying to Earth and she finds Tony.
Yeah. I don't think she's going to save Tony. We all know Rescue's going to save Tony. We got to get through that horrible scene. right, what was the second scene? This one was just a cat.
Oh, I guess. Well, everyone thought. What's the name of this cat again? Turgan.
The Flurkin.
Flurkin.
So the Flurkin eats the Tesseract, and there was goobers behind me. It's like, well, how they explain the cat, like how they gonna get the Tesseract out of the cat,
And then it throws it up.
and then they just cough something terrible. I'm like, thank God they just said this is how it happens.
Not those people that he ate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just that he should have coughed up some bones.
Yeah.
But
Those end scenes after the credits, you really wait around for nothing.
well,
You know?
it's always the one after the cool credits is something cool, and then after the shitty
It's
credits is just.
there we go. Yeah.
But you know what? It does more to explain than most has.
Yeah, at least tells you that the Tesseract's out, where Fury picks it up.
Yeah.
Now S.H.I.E.L.D. has it, and then that's Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else we want to talk about before we rate this movie? I think we all generally were pleased that this character is now a part of the MCU, and they did a good job of introducing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's going to be good in the Avengers movie.
Mm-hmm.
The battle scene with her flying around at the end looked really cool. It's probably one of the cooler things I've seen in an MCU movie. You know, the special effects wise.
That's why another reason I think it's got better special effects than Black Panther.
Well, I mean, yeah, those are. You're flying around fighting ships and blowing things up, and
The fight scene where she's like flipping and she's doing her, and it's tough. The only thing that kind of separates me when I watch this is I think she's doing those Ecton like proton pack things because they look very similar.
They look
in ways.
different, yeah.
And when she like moves her arm, it's like.
I just hope they don't overpower her too much. Where like she's tougher than Hulk and Thor and everyone else, because she's not really in the comic. You don't have to make her Superman of the Marvel Universe. Like, you don't have to go there. When I read those things online, like, I read one today where they interviewed Brie Larson, and they said, hey, Brie, are you stronger than Superman? She went, duh. And all these people got mad. I'm like, what do you want her to say? Of course, that would you expect her to say? I'm like, calm down, but, like, you're not stronger than Superman. Stop the nonsense already. Like, you're not even the strongest character in the Marvel Universe. Like, I still don't think you could beat... Captain Marvel can't beat the Hulk in a fight. You know what I mean?
Trying to think.
She's not that strong.
Well, if they got like close up, it would be tough.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't even think she's tougher than Thor, but you know. She's powerful, yeah, but like you don't have to get carried away. Like the people need to calm down. She could kick Superman's ass. Like stop it with that stuff right now. Stop bringing that stuff up and just be happy that she looks cool in the movie.
That's nerds for you.
Yeah, that's nerds for you. And I'm the one out there getting mad about it.
Just you.
The only other thing I thought was kind of hokey was the way she changed the uniform. Like. It was just like, oh, your uniform can do that? Like, I didn't get a little arm thing, like, you know.
I'm trying to think. There were some things that bothered me, and I can't remember what they are now. But it was just like, it was hokey things.
Yeah,
like
that was kind of a little hokey, you know.
There was some, like, but then, it was a lot of when she went, like, when the regulator was popped off her neck.
Yeah.
It was a lot of, like, yeah, woo! I was like,
Yeah.
okay. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing that, but that's not for me. Like,
Yeah, she was very excitable with all that stuff, you know.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But like
Regulators off. Yippee!
Yeah. Just like flying through in planes and stuff.
Yeah.
I liked Flurry's car
Flurry?
when they were first going to Fury. When they were first going to Pegasus.
Oh.
I was actually
I
surprised how
wanted
much...
one of those when I was in high school.
I was surprised how much he was in this movie. I felt like he was going to have a few scenes, but he was really like the co-star, you know. He was cool. I will say one last thing about Coulson. Seeing him in this movie just for a little bit makes me miss him in these movies. Like, I watched the regular Avengers the other day. I'm like, I don't know why they made that mistake of taking him out of these movies.
Josh Whedon did, because he felt like he needed to kill someone that was close to the
character. He was such an important... like core for them. Like I really wish they would bring him back in Endgame and have him in movies for a little bit, because he's such a good actor and so great in these films, and I just feel like it sucks without him in it. You know, like it's not cool.
Yeah,
he's good. He needs to be in.
Yeah.
All right, we're ready for ratings.
Yep.
Let's rate it, Justin. You're up.
So I looked back at my other ratings, and I'm disappointed in myself on some of these. I'm going to rate this differently. It's a solo movie. It's not any kind of an ensemble movie. I liked it better than Doctor Strange. I'm going to give it a 4 1/4.
4 1/4. Okay.
If I'm comparing it to my other ratings, I gave Doctor Strange a 4. I actually had Black Panther at 4.5, and I agree with Ken. I like this more than Black Panther, but I don't want to go 4.75. It wasn't that good.
Okay. Do you want to go next?
It doesn't matter.
I'm gonna go with. Seeing as how I gave Black Panther 3.5, and I gave Strange 4, I want to go either 3.75 or a 4. I don't really want to give it a 4 but I gave Strange a 4. I'm really torn here, so I think I'll just be nice and give it the 4.
Okay.
How about you?
I'm giving it a 4. I don't need to him-haw about it. That's, I know that I gave some movies I didn't like. This, I feel like I'm always pleasantly surprised with how I rate these movies. I'm giving it a 4.
I gotta add the rest of our movies in here. I'm missing a whole year of movies in here. in our spreadsheet. I gotta add those in. All right. Cool. Sounds good. All right.
All right, everyone, please like, share, subscribe, invite, leave a comment saying what you think about the movie, if you think that we're stupid or whatever you think. And check us out on all your favorite podcast applications. And check us out on YouTube. But most of all, check us out at kfpodcast.com. You're a hub for us.
That's right.
Sweet.
Later.
Good night.
Bye.